Our guest today is the governor of California, Gavin Newsom. Thank you so much for joining the show.
Good to be with you.
So, Governor, we talked earlier in the show about the protests over the weekend, the incidents of violence, President Trump taking over and deploying the California National Guard. We are talking now at about 4 p.m. Pacific on Monday. So far, the protests today have seemed to be pretty peaceful and calm. Do you think things are now under control?
For the moment, but they're not about to be. He just called up another 2,000 National Guard, so it's now 4,000. And we're getting word that he's looking to operationalize that relationship and advance significantly larger scale ICE operations in partnership and collaboration with the National Guard. We're on the other side now of the red line. And I haven't even mentioned the self-evident major escalation, which is next level. And that is the Secretary of Defense just moments ago tweeting out that he's quote unquote deploying 700 active military to Los Angeles. And unless he just done it, I have not seen the Insurrection Act formally advanced, but by definition, this would require the Insurrection Act.
Yeah, I mean, I saw you have now filed suit to protest the federalizing of the California National Guard. These 700 Marines who are apparently being sent to Los Angeles, is there a legal avenue for you to challenge that deployment?
Well, unless he opposes the Insurrection Act, just blatantly unconstitutional. It's not even a close call. And so we're going to immediately try to seek a TRO, an injunction to stop this completely reckless, immoral, yes, but completely illegal and unconstitutional act. And I'll remind folks, this is an act not just against the people here in Los Angeles, against the people here in the state of California, but against Americans all across this country, against the principles of our founding father that did not live and die to watch these authoritarian tendencies in action. And let me be now even more specific. The absurdity of this cannot be understated. There were 2,000 National Guard that were, quote unquote, deployed, of which only 315 actually were mission assigned. 1,700 have no particular role or responsibility. Yesterday, local law enforcement had to protect the National Guard. The additional 2,000 National Guard men and women that President Trump now is redeploying are being taken away. It's the 79th Infantry. I know these folks well. You know these folks well. These are the folks. These are the National Guard men and women that have been out there protecting you here in Southern California during the fires, after the fires. We are now taking many of them off assignments on forest management, protecting communities, vulnerable communities against summer and wildfire season. We're removing them from task forces that we've created to deal with fentanyl interdiction. I have 394 National Guard men and women down at the border. I imagine they may even be pulled for this theatrical display of toughness by a president of the United States who's unhinged and has now crossed a red line in this country. And he has nationalized this order. This is not an order against this state. This is an order that can be imposed now all across the United States.
Yeah, I mean, I saw you release this statement with a bunch of other Democratic governors who sort of span the political spectrum. I mean, what is your message to people living in 49 other states who think, this is just Trump going after crazy California where all the liberals are, like, we'll be fine?
It's a preview of things to come. It's a coming attraction. I mean, look, I'm sure you guys have been saying it. I mean, this is what he did to create the conditions that led to the insurrection on January 6th. In the Orwellian nature of this, how about this? I mean, this is the guy lecturing us about protecting law enforcement that pardoned all the people that attacked law enforcement in our institution, democracy, symbolically and substantively. I mean, you can't make this stuff up.
Yeah.
So we're at a remarkable moment. This, I think, is a much bigger moment. You know, I know I'm in the middle of it, so maybe I'm the last person to objectively make this case. I think it more objectively needs to be made. But my sense is this is an even more profound moment than it appears. We're on the other side now, posse comitatus, the other side of truth and trust now with the military, turning the military against the American people. That's how people feel out here. And the devastation for me is, again, I love these guys. I mean, I'm not making this up. I've been so proud to work with these guys as commander in chief, as governor of the state of California, 18,000 of them that used to be under my command, 4,000 less today, doing extraordinary work, keeping people safe, good family people live in our communities. And now they're pawns in this game. And it's a very dangerous game.
Speaking of dangerous games, I mean, Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, threatened to arrest you. He later seemed to walk that threat back. But then at a press conference earlier today, President Trump was asked what crime you committed. And he said, quote, running for governor, which sounded to me like the president of the United States suggesting that a governor of a state having different political views than him is a criminal act. What was your reaction to that statement?
I talked to him on Friday night, and he never brought up the National Guard. It was a very, that was unbelievably collaborative conversation. A few hours later, he came out talking about new scum, et cetera. In essence, talking about defunding, California. And then, of course, this assault on the rule of law, decency, democracy, Constitution. But I mean this, I'm reacting to what you just asked. I never, ever imagined President of the United States of America ever saying that about a political opponent whose crime is being elected and who happens to be governor of the state of California. And this was day 3 of these guys bloviating about arresting me. And I made the point, can we just get it over with? So you get your scalp, you can do your tough guy thing. You're strong. They're just weakness masquerading as strength. They're cosplaying. I mean, Kristi Noem, the same one who was on with Press Secretary Sean Hannity just a few months ago, decrying the assault on freedom and her state rights because Biden administration allegedly was looking at potentially federalizing her National Guard. I mean, this guy, Pete Hegseth, literally just sending out a tweet saying he's deploying Marines, these remarkable young men and women on the streets of an American city, weaponizing the Marine Corps against its own citizens just by the chill that it puts. And I pray sanity can take shape here. I pray that they do not incite the kind of violence that they claim they seek to avoid.
I can't believe I'm asking this, but if you actually are arrested, is there a plan for what happens?
You know what's so absurd about that question is I've actually thought about it. And the fact that I'm actually answering it by saying I thought about it, and not only did I think about it, that we've already processed what that may look like, that if they do get a federal warrant to arrest me, that the very act, if I chose to fly back to Sacramento from LA, could be grounds then for them actually having cause to arrest. The fact that we're even having that conversation with our folks and have had that conversation with our folks in the United States in 2025, I mean, says everything you need to know about who's in the White House right now.
Yeah, scary stuff. You've had some harsh words for President Trump. In this interview and recent interviews, called him reckless, immoral, that he's putting people's lives at risk. There was a report last week that the Trump administration has been preparing to cancel what CNN described as, quote, a large swath of federal funding for California. So basically to punish the state of California for political views held by parts of the state. Are you worried about retaliation by the White House?
Well, I mean, this is across the board defunding of police, public health, public safety, defunding. He wants to defund California. It's, sure, it's a larger assault on knowledge, an assault on culture, on speech, censoring historical facts, rewriting history, not even allowing certain history to be taught. Pete Hegseth at West Point. These guys, this is different. So it's originally, the answer to your question, originally we thought it was just, continuation of an attack on knowledge, institutions of higher learning, the UCs, which have more patents than any other system in the world. There's no Silicon Valley, there's no internet, GIS, GPS. I mean, go through the list. It's our conveyor belt for talents, economic engine of this country, these institutions of higher learning, pushing out the boundaries of discovery, research and development. It's the secret sauce. It's what defines the game we play from the game played elsewhere, not just in California, the United States of America. So he's going to go after NSF funding. He's going to go after NIH funding. He's going after some DOD grants. And we were told he was going to do that at 7 a.m. East Coast time on Friday. He delayed that. And now we understand he delayed it because he wanted someone to go into the computer and look at the prompt. And everywhere that California appeared, he then wanted to take that line item. And if he had any discretion whatsoever, push the boundaries of that, just eliminate the funding. So he's coming. This was all happening before that first protest. Mm-hmm. Before that first protest. So this is about something. It's about opposition. He's already taken out Speaker Johnson. There's no second branch of government. There's no oversight coming from, they're gone right now. It's only up to us to take that back in, 18 or so months. He's trying to take out judges that he doesn't like and decisions he doesn't like. He's right on the edge of that, or some would argue he's already crossed that line. But he wants to take out dissent. And the fact that we assert ourselves and we punch above our weight, we filed over 22 lawsuits and counting. The fact that we use our moral authority, not just formal authority, the fact that we have the audacity to get elected and disagree with them. This is what this is all about. It's an authoritarian playbook. I hate that word because it's so loaded and people trying to tune out, but just is by definition. Google it, look it up. What's the definition?
Yeah.
And we're experiencing it in real time.
Well, and with also, look, what's strange about this is my takeaway from watching him interact with you is that he likes you. It might be a grudging respect, but, I think he doesn't like people that cower in front of him, like Speaker Johnson. He, I think, respects people that throw a punch. But it's surprising to me that you guys would have this 20-minute call and he would not bring up this imminent decision to federalize the National Guard, and then he would lie about it. And I think you said in an interview that he's lost it. He is not the same person I dealt with 4 years ago.
Yeah, he's a different guy. And I mean, look, I still revere the presidency. I said I'm not going to break confidence, except to say, well, maybe your jaw wouldn't drop about what we talked about because you know this guy as well. We're sitting here. It's 2:08, roughly. I don't know, 1:30. I don't remember what time it was his time. And we're having the conversation we had. I know I say you can't make it up. You kind of can't make it up, except it's kind of familiar.
Yeah.
And you kept trying to go back to the substance of what the matter at hand. I was back and forth with his chief of staff right before, talking to the mayor, talking about whatever needs they need. We have abundance of law enforcement resources. LA County's got 88 cities. The vast majority of them have police departments. CHP has tactical teams and units, and we have mutual aid well established. And we're in the process that first night of figuring out what may be needed over the weekend, talking to his chief of staff in a collaborative way, engaging her directly, and give Susie the benefit of the doubt, Susie Wiles, and he calls, and I thought, all right, good, we can have now a substantive conversation about this, and we could talk as well about why he may have delayed the defunding of California. No interest in any of those conversations. Well, which leads you to beg again the question: what the hell did you talk about? And maybe that's for a memoir that I can write from prison.
Yeah, let's hope not. Speaking of memoirs from prison, Stephen Miller, he tweeted, LAPD has not been authorized to arrest the insurrectionists. They are just corralling them from one location to another. What authorization would LAPD need to arrest anyone committing a criminal act? What the hell is he talking about?
Anyone that commits a crime should be held to account, period, full stop. I can't stand these antagonists, some of these sort of anarchists that are running around right now. They not only should be arrested, they should be prosecuted aggressively. People attacking police officers, CHP officers, smashing cars, jumping up and down on cars and breaking windows and using Molotov cocktails, threatening law enforcement, putting peaceful protesters' lives at risk as well. They're a disgrace. But that's what they're inciting. They know what they're doing. This is what we told them. This was our concern, that these guys would start coming out of the woodwork. So they need to be aggressive. And I think we had 50 plus arrests just last night as it relates to some of that. And trust me, tons more coming. All those videos, we're coming. We're coming. I'm not the mayor of San Francisco. I'm not the mayor, of LA or San Francisco, let alone mayor of California. I'm the governor. CHP made arrests. That's what I can directly command. But LAPD is also making arrests, and the sheriff's office is making arrests, and there were a number of them, and there's going to be a lot more, and there needs to be if that kind of outrageous behavior continues.
There are a lot of well-meaning people, I would include myself among them, who are terrified by what Trump is doing, what ICE is doing to communities all around the country, but then also watching those protests and wondering, should I be a part of this? Is this helpful? Should I go down there right now? Or is this giving Stephen Miller and Trump the images they want to get looped on Fox News for the next month? How do you think about the way well-meaning activists should engage in protests in this moment?
I was just down in the neighborhoods and meeting with community leaders, and they talked about mass panic. I mean, that's their words, not mine. Tears in their eyes. 30 years I've been doing rapid response networks, legal aid. They've never seen anything like this. They were talking about 6 or 7 operations that occurred earlier today, a number of Home Depots all throughout the county, how people literally are walking the streets and being threatened. They're being asked for their papers. People are now walking around with their passports. There was assertions that there were checkpoints. I'll be honest with you, I didn't know if that was overstated. Turns out it was true. They have checkpoints in certain cases, which ICE has denied. Complete bullshit. We've seen it, where they're literally stopping people, asking for papers, their cars, walking in parking lots, and not just down streets, car washes, obviously these Home Depots. We've got unmarked cars near schools now. We got people not showing up for graduation. These kids not showing up for graduation. Their families, their grandparents, mixed status families in some cases, others that are here legally that are scared to death. And they asked me exactly the question you just asked. There's one woman, she said, "What's your advice? Should we, quote unquote," this is the question, "should we stay home or is it okay to walk out, get to the grocery store?" And I literally paused. I'm like, I honestly, I said, right now, I want you to stay home. I'm worried about you. I'm honestly worried about you. What the heck? How did I answer that way? That's the moment we're in. That's Stephen Miller's United States of America. This is what they want. And this is how serious it is. Yeah. Kids attacking kids. And by the way, you're talking to a governor that has collaborated. I'll take the hits. I've collaborated with ICE through our California Department of Corrections 10,000 plus times. I have no problem dealing with going after criminals. This is not about that. But these are law-abiding citizens. These are good human beings. I mean, God is my witness. We were talking about a young lady who, thank God, found her father down at a federal detention center, and found out he was still in California. He's been living here 27 years as a taxpayer. That's who they're going after right now. They're lying to you that this is just about criminals. If it was, we wouldn't be having this conversation. We'd be having a very different conversation. So forgive me. I really do worry, and I want peaceful. I want to see peaceful protest. We need peaceful protests, but we've got elements now coming in that are intentionally trying to create chaos and putting people in harm's way. And it's my biggest fear when we start to militarize our streets. And they know this. Trump knows this. It's what he wants. He wants that engagement, and he wants that friction. And I just pray that we can keep people safe, and that people are thoughtful as they peacefully protest.
And Governor, thank you so much for your time. Final question. I mean, the flip side of that question about should people protest, how should activists act, is how should ICE be acting, right? It's their job to deport people. It's their job to enforce immigration laws. What's the appropriate role for ICE in this moment that they should be playing?
Just look, I've said this on many occasions, and it goes to, quote unquote, the sanctuary question. We have never, California's law is crystal clear. We do not impede federal law enforcement's right to spend federal dollars on federal operations. That's their role and responsibility. And so that should be protected to the extent that it legally is required. And those that seek to put anyone in law enforcement in harm's way, that is not appropriate, and they should also be held to account. We cannot indulge that. We cannot allow for that. And so I want people to act civilly, responsibly, And if it was any other administration, we would be having a collaborative conversation on the right way, not the wrong way. The Obama administration, there were plenty of. I was on the receiving end back mayor days, supervisor days of Democratic administration, not just Republican administrations, even first Trump administration. There's a right way of doing things and there's a wrong way of doing things. And they're not interested in having a conversation about doing the right way. That said, there are a lot of good people that work for these organizations that are being used by people that have not their best interest at heart either, and that are trying to sow chaos, sow distress and division. And so it's just trying to find that balance, and I pray we can find it. Good people that need to do the right thing in the right way. And all of us, I think, need to do a better job calling out the people that don't.
Agreed. Well, Governor, thank you very much for your time. Let's hope that things stay calm as they have been earlier today, and President Trump cuts the bullshit. But thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks. Cut the bullshit's the right phrase.
Okay, that was an excerpt of tomorrow's Pod Save America episode in the interview with Governor Gavin Newsom. But because we love YouTube and we love our YouTube subscribers and viewers, we are releasing it here earlier. If you like getting breaking news early, if you like funny stuff that doesn't make the podcast that we release later in the week, subscribe to our YouTube page. There are massive structural disadvantages for Democrats on YouTube. If you search for political news on YouTube, you're finding Ben Shapiro and TPUSA and a bunch of right-wing crap, and you're not getting good news. So when you subscribe to the Pod Save America YouTube page, you help us surface good progressive political news in the algorithm, reach more people, reach undecided voters, and just do a better job. So thank you for subscribing.